Your bank knows things about you that your spouse does not know. It knows what time of day you spend the most money. It knows which day of the month you are most likely to overdraft. It knows the dollar amount of the purchase that is most likely to push you into the red. It knows when you check your balance how often and how your spending changes when you do. It knows you better than you know yourself, and it has been using that knowledge against you for years. If you have ever paid an overdraft fee and felt that it was somehow your fault, stay with me, because what I am about to tell you is the diagnosis nobody at your bank will ever say out loud. And once you understand it, you will never look at that institution the same way again. The promise: I am not going to give you a list of better banks. That is the conversation everyone else has, and it is the wrong conversation. The right conversation is this: every bank in America, every single one, from the largest national chain to the smallest credit union, is at its core a behavioral engineering company. They have full-time teams of psychologists. They run experiments on you. They study your transaction history the same way a casino studies its players. And almost every product they offer, the free checking account, the overdraft protection, the rewards card, the easy transfer feature, has been carefully designed to extract value from you at your most vulnerable financial moments. This is not a conspiracy. It is not even hidden. It is just never named in language ordinary Americans will understand. In the next 12 minutes, I am going to name it. The symptoms. There are 5 signs you are in an extractive relationship with your bank. Most patients show 4. 1. You do not actually know how much you pay your bank in a year. Not approximately. Not around $50. You do not know. Total every fee, every interest charge, every monthly maintenance cost, every ATM penalty, every courtesy charge over the last 12 months, you could not produce the number. 2. You feel guilty when you overdraft, as if it were your fault, as if you should have been more careful. You apologize to customer service. Sometimes, literally, you do not realize the overdraft system was engineered to produce exactly that result. 3. You love your bank's app, clean interface, warm notifications, satisfying animations. You feel quiet pleasure checking your balance even when it's bad. That pleasure is the product. The app is engineered to produce it. 4. You've been with the same bank for over 10 years. Switching feels hard. Direct deposit is set up. Inertia keeps you there. The bank knows and prices it in. The longer you stay, the less competitive your terms quietly become, and they know you won't notice. 5. You do not know your actual interest rates on savings, credit cards, or small loans. They're in fine print you stopped reading. The bank counts on it. If 3 of these sound familiar, the diagnosis fits. The disease is not financial illiteracy, the disease is asymmetry, and you have been on the wrong side of it for years. The diagnosis: here is what I want you to understand about the institution where you keep your money. American banks collectively earn tens of billions of dollars a year in consumer fees alone, not interest income, not investment returns, fees, charges levied on ordinary Americans for events the banks themselves engineered to occur. That is not a side business. That is the business. How does an institution charge you that much money without you noticing? The answer is friction engineering. Banks have spent 5 decades carefully studying the relationship between consumer behavior and the design of financial products. They have learned with extraordinary precision exactly which features create the most extraction. Spending money is frictionless. Saving money requires effort. Overdraft protection is enabled by default. Opting out requires a phone call. The rewards program is automatic. The fee for missing a payment by 24 hours is automatic. Your interest rate on your savings can be lowered without notice. Your interest rate on your credit card can be raised with a notice nobody reads. Every single one of these design choices is intentional. Every single one of them was tested in behavioral experiments, refined over years, and rolled out to millions of customers. You are not paying for banking services. You are funding one of the most sophisticated extraction systems in the modern economy. The brain reason inside your brain are 3 cognitive vulnerabilities that banks have learned to exploit with surgical precision. The first is default bias. Behavioral economists have demonstrated repeatedly that humans accept whatever option is presented to them as the default, even when the alternative would be objectively better for them. If overdraft protection is on by default, the vast majority of customers will leave it on. If the high-yield savings account requires opting in, only a small minority will opt in. The bank knows this ratio. They design every form, every checkbox, every option around it. The second is friction asymmetry. Your brain weights effort heavily, far more heavily than you realize. A task that takes 30 seconds feels 20 times harder than a task that takes 1 second, even though the actual effort difference is trivial. Banks have engineered their products so that anything that benefits you takes effort, and anything that benefits them is automatic. Direct deposit is automatic. Comparison shopping for a better account requires a multi-step process. Overdraft is automatic. Disputing it requires a phone call. The asymmetry is the entire business model. The third is what I call the warm glow effect. Your bank's app is engineered to make you feel something positive every time you open it. The clean interface, the friendly notifications, the personalized greeting, the satisfying animation when a transfer goes through. These are not aesthetic choices. They are engineered emotional outputs. When you feel warmth toward your bank, you do not scrutinize them. You do not switch. You do not negotiate. You do not ask hard questions. The warmth is the leash. These 3 vulnerabilities are not character flaws. They are universal features of the human nervous system. You did not develop them. You were born with them. The banks did not invent them. They simply built a massive industry around exploiting them. This is why the smartest, most disciplined Americans still pay hundreds of dollars a year to their bank without realizing it. The wiring is older than the wisdom. Someone like you, let me tell you about Maria. Maria is 34. She is a single mother of 2 living in Houston, Texas. She works as a dental hygienist, earning about $62,000 a year. She is, by any reasonable measure, careful with money. She uses a budgeting app. She watches financial videos. She asked me one specific question. Doctor, I track everything. I have for years. So why does my account never grow the way the math says it should? I asked her to do something simple. Pull every statement from her checking and savings account over the last 18 months and total every fee, every charge, every interest cost. 3 days later, she sent me the number. $1,412. In 18 months, Maria had paid her bank $1,400 she did not know she was paying. Overdraft fees from the days the timing of her direct deposit fell wrong. Monthly maintenance fees on a savings account that had quietly slipped below the minimum balance. out-of-network ATM charges from times she was traveling, a few interest charges from a credit card she had used to bridge expenses one stressful summer. Each individual charge was small. None of them registered as a financial event in the moment. None of them made it into her budget tracker. They were quiet, automatic, and almost invisible, exactly as designed. When she saw the total, Maria did not get angry. She got quiet. Then she said, "I work full-time. I am raising 2 kids alone. I am trying to do everything right. And I have been giving someone almost $100 a month for nothing." That is the disease in a single sentence. What you do about it, there are 3 steps. Skip none of them. Step 1, fee audit. Pull the last 12 months of statements. Total every fee, interest, and penalty. That's not spending, it's what your bank extracted. You can't fix a relationship you haven't measured. Step 2, relocate. Move your accounts to a low-fee, high-interest bank or credit union. The transition takes a few hours, but pays off faster than your job. Step 3, engineer friction. Keep savings in a separate account you can't access from your main app. Make spending harder, saving easier. Reverse the asymmetry. You are reversing the asymmetry that has been working against you for years. The lesson A&D close. Here is the part of the diagnosis that is hardest to swallow. Your bank is not a service, it is a counterparty. The relationship is, by design, adversarial. Not because the people who work there are bad. Most are decent humans doing their jobs. But the institution itself is built to extract. The board reports to shareholders. The shareholders demand growth. The growth comes from your fees, your interest, your inertia. There is no version of this story where the bank's interests align with yours. Until you accept that banks, like casinos, aren't designed to make you wealthy, the asymmetry will keep working against you. The wealthy treat banks as vendors. They negotiate, move money, and spread it across institutions. The middle class stays loyal, trusts free services, apologizes for engineered fees, and pays for decades without realizing it. You can keep playing that game or stop. Most Americans never see this. You can. I am Dr. Wealth. The clinic is open.